Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of Modern Mondays with me, Backwards Hero. So, today, instead of just going straight to talking about the modern format, I figured I would just go ahead and start off the beginning with the deck tech that I want to show off today with a pretty fun deck that I'd seen a long time ago back in the heyday of Extended. And that was the Restore Balance deck. So for those of you who don't know, it kind of works just sort of like Living In, and in that you cast one of these spells with Cascade, and you have Restore Balance. And while it's on the stack, you maintain priority, and hopefully you have this guy suspended, which is a Greater Gargadon. He's a 9/7 that you could sacrifice artifacts, creatures, or lands to remove suspend counters on this guy. So it only costs 1 red to suspend. So normally what you do is you cast one of these Cascade spells like Violent Outburst or Ardent Plea to get to Restore Balance, and then sacrifice all your lands with to Greater Gargadon so that you basically Armageddon your opponent. So if you have no lands, then how do you get to this? Well, that's what the border post cycle comes into play, because you can substitute your basic land drop for the turn for one of these, and so you can pay a colorless and return the basic to your hand, and then play this thing into play tapped. The majority colors of the deck are green, red, and blue, but we need to play more, so that's why we play the red-black one and the one of the blue-black ones. And play 4 of the ones that matter, like the Field Mist and the Firewild. In terms of the Cascade spells, Violent Outburst is an instant, so that's usually really good. It's a great way to Cascade and Restore Balance, like on your opponent's turn when they're going to like Alpha Strike you. And Ardent Plea is really good once you get like a Gargadon play, because it has Exalted. Because once he comes off suspend, he has haste, and it's really nice attacking with a 10 power hasty guy. So other things this deck is doing is it combined the Gifts and Givens package, which is, you search your library for 4 cards with different names, reveal them. Your opponent puts 2 of those cards, 2 into your graveyard, and 2 into your hand. So it plays in Burial Rites. And its Burial Rite targets are Elish Norn for any aggro creature matchup, like, say, Affinity, or like a tribal style deck, maybe like with goblins or all the hate bears decks running around. Or it has Iona to lock your control opponent out of maybe pathing her. Or if they're just like a blue red style deck, you can lock them out of blue for counter magic. Sorry. Or if it's a burn deck, you can lock them out of all their burn spells. The fun tech that's been running around right now is these guys, Goblin Dart Dwellers. It's a really good card right now, because once you cast them, you can cast Restore Balance out of your graveyard, or you can cast a Violent Outburst out of your graveyard. So that's usually really handy to Burial Rites these guys, or if you have the mana to just cast them. Another way that the deck casts Restore Balance is just by playing Bring Delight, because Bring Delight for any amount allows you to cast Restore Balance, but it usually is really good for casting Bring Delight for 5, and you could get your Goblin Dart Dweller if your opponent has like a smaller creature in play, and you've got a Restore Balance in your graveyard, and you want to try and get ahead of them. That's always a good way to get there. The deck also plays some ways to deal with other types of threats, like Oblivion Ring, to deal with Planeswalkers, because Restore Balance doesn't hit Planeswalkers, and that can be kind of rough, especially if they land like Elspeth, or I've had them hit Gideon, and it's really hard to win from there unless you have like Oblivion Ring, or you can Beast Within. Anger right now is for all the aggro matchups that are right around, because everything's just really quick right now. Collective Company and Affinity. And then the lands, it plays Simian Spirit Guides to help power out like an early Restore Balance if you need to. It plays just a Breeding Pool and a Sacred Foundry. And it plays 2 basic planes, a mountain, an island, a forest, but it plays Evolving Wilds and Fetch Lands. The evolving mods should actually be Wooded Foothills right now, but they are quite expensive on Moto. But the kind of interesting technology that I've seen is playing misfill planes, because you can search it up, and as long as you have like 2 border posts that are white or an ardent plea in play, you can recycle your restore balances. So that's pretty handy. The sideboard, we have Ingot Chewer to get around Chalice of the Void, or to just bring in against other artifact style decks. Ricochet Chap to bring in against the blue counterspell decks, because how Cascade works is the spell's still on the stack while it cascades. So normally, if someone tries to counter your restore balance, you've got like a Spirit Guide in hand or a red source open, you can cast Ricochet Trap to retarget that blue spell to target the Ricochet Trap. Crumble to Dusk against the Tron matchups and currently the Eldrazi matchups to hit their important lands. Fairy Macabre against other graveyard style decks or decks with Snapcaster Mage. Tamalian Forces has been pretty useful against any of the burn decks or intense aggro decks. And more Oblivion Rings for other decks that tend to run. It's like a kind of a catch-all for against like Planeswalkers and other things that you just can't get around. So yeah, this is pretty much the deck. The original version that I was working with had Blood Moons, but I had got rid of mine a while back. So, but I'm feeling like the Angers work a lot better in the deck, especially with, if you get to Bring to Light and the board's cluttered up and you need to reset everything, just casting Bring to Light for 3 and casting Angers pretty decent. Or if you have no guys and you've got a Gargadon and Suspend, it's perfectly fine to cast a Restore Balance to wipe their board. I've been plenty of times where my opponents go to Alpha Strike me and I just Violent Outburst into Restore Balance, and tend to like reassess myself from there. So I'm gonna play a few games. Let's see what happens here. That's always fun. This is not a keeper. No basics at all. Let's look at that. Ugh. That's not good either. Come on, 5. Man. 4? We'll run it. I mean, there's a Border Post, a land, and an Ardent Plea. Hey, and there's another one, so we'll see what happens. This could get interesting, especially depending on what I'm up against. Okay. It's like, please don't let that be like a Duress or an Inquisition. So, play this. Fetch. I'm going to get... Let's go and get this Plains. Play this Border Post. And as my opponent probably has to read in what it does. And let's go. Dark Confidant. This is interesting. Just one, take one. Yep. Man. I'm gonna get all the cascades out of this. Yeah, there's probably gonna be, depending on what he hits off Bob here. Let's see. Death Cultist. Their player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Alright, so Bob Thornbow Archer is going to hit. High Priest. Death Cultist. Yeah, we're definitely casting Ardent Plea next turn just to kind of clear up the board. I'll probably make him go down to 2 cards. Oh, what up, Gargadon? Too bad I'm not casting you this time around. I will be next turn. White, blue, colorless, Cascade, Cast Restore Balance, get you down to 1 swamp. Been really nice if I'd actually been able to suspend this Gargadon here. need 5/5 demons. Alright. Here it is. If he tries to load the board up on me again, I've got 2 more Ardent Pleas in my hand, and I'm definitely going to suspend this Gargadon. Whenever a player sacrifices a creature, you put a +++ counter on this guy. Okay. Seems fair enough. Says the guy casting Restore Balance. Okay, so we're going to suspend this guy. Play wilds right now. Just to see where his land count gets to. It's just a free card sack to. Let's click this up. So take 1 here. We're on the 12-turn clock. Oh, that's always fun. It's having a second Gargadon. Something that's like really fun is the fact that you can use Gargadon to put him into play on their turn. Oh, Thornbow Archer. Sure, you got me, man. Or lady. Spend. That seems fun. Suspend this other Gargadon just for just to keep my hand count low. Bile Urchin. Yeah, he's gonna make this guy a little bit bigger. I have to get him on this one. Yeah, attacking me for 4. Let's just go ahead and do this. So, blue, white, colorless. What's on the stack? I'm going to click this guy, this, this. Let that resolve. Cast Restore Balance. Which triggered on stack. Pains here, Bile Urchins. So now, like, if I get like Mistveil Plains, I can start like I can rebuy one of my Restore Balances, even though I have a 3rd one in the deck. I can put Gargadon up to down to 2 counters. But I don't want to leave myself open with no mana, especially because I have this Violent Outburst in my hand. This is the boring part of the game, is once you've like Armageddon them and you don't have anything to do. Just turns into Drago. Oh, gotta land. Cast this guy. Make this guy exalted. Border post. Okay. Let's get in there. 18, go. Oh, pardon me, that was my phone. Oh, I left the game. Oh, it's ruined sideboard. Well, I haven't seen anything that's like terribly relevant other than maybe the fact that I should probably bring in these because I'm wondering if he's got like some kind of way to loop his sacrifice effects. So let's cut Oblivion Ring. Light. That'll be alright. Alright. This isn't bad. Yeah, there's an Evolving Wilds, 3 border post, and a Timely, so I can definitely keep this hand. Especially being on the draw, there's a chance I can draw an actual basic. Playing the Beetle up front. What set was that from? Oh, Rise. Oh, that's nice. The only problem with Evolving Wilds is if I would really like for them to be fetch lands. That way I can actually get to... Oh, that card's never good. Blood Artist. Probably running Cutthroat 2. It's like I have 2 red stars, but I also want to get the mountain for Gurkdon. Wait, so blue and white, so I'm gonna need to get my planes. Because, alright, play. So, let's play this. Play my land for the turn. The only problem with Timely is you have to kind of be smart when you're playing it to prevent your opponent from, because you can like make guys, and if you make too many guys when you go to restore balance, they'll still keep creatures around. So it's more like a 3-mana gain stage life for me. But in some matchups, it's perfectly fine to cast because that way you have like blockers to deal with some other stuff. Oh, what's up, Violent Outburst? So he's probably going to make a 5/5 demon, but he has to do that on his turn. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this guy. This. So now I can Violent Outburst with no lands in play. And he has to do a lot of damage to me this turn. Second Blood Artist. Alright, so yeah, this Timely Reinforcement is going to be really useful. Seems kind of interesting. Use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ugh. Not as bad as a. Alright, let's just go ahead and cast Violent Outburst here. Red, green, colorless. Cast this Restore Balance. Blow up all your lands. And get all your guys. I'm going to lose a little bit of life. That is a lot of Blood Artist triggers. And I get 0 cards in my hand. Sometimes this happens. It will. Come on. I hate when it does this. There it goes. Nukes my hand. And now my opponent has to put all these Blood Artist triggers onto the stack. Well, we're both in top deck mode, but I still feel like I'm a little better off. Ah. Closer to the lands. If I could, man, hitting Dark Dwellers would be really good right here. Priest. Well, that was really helpful to draw right there. Let's just go ahead and get that guy out of here now. The other two cards that he currently has in this game are useless. So got a draw here. I'm about to cast its Violent Outburst. That works. So thinking here. Yeah. So let this restore balance resolve. Get rid of that Pain Seer in your last two swamps. And I'm going to Gargadon into play. So yeah, that's generally kind of how that deck works. I mean, it's just a rough sample size. I've played it against some of the other strategies. Decks that tend to rip your hands apart are the ones that are the worst, or decks that I know right now with all that's main deck, there's a lot of artifact hate running about, so that's tend to be a bit of a problem for the deck. I've managed to fight through because everybody plays Nature's Claims and Ancient Grudges now, but it's not as bad as it could be. I think it could get worse if people just started if Affinity really started like charging forward and somehow overtook Eldrazi. I don't see that happening anytime. But yeah, so that's the deck. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think. If you've played this deck before, anything that you've done different. But other than that, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.